All right, so I got a 2010 Prius right here. This is a past customer of mine. I've done a couple things on this. They said that the temp light came on and they had a check engine light. Well, 3 weeks ago, I replaced the coolant temp sensor down there because I had the same light on, and my scanner said circuit low, circuit high. It was a permanent code and a current code. So replaced the sensor, ran it for over an hour in maintenance mode, which keeps the engine idling because this is a hybrid, and no problems. I drove it all the way to Avondale to work. Everything's fine. This was about 3 weeks ago to a month ago. Then the light came back on again. Well, this time it said something about the temperature circuit input, temperature input low, which I thought was weird because it's a new sensor, it's OEM. When I look over here, it's full now, but when I got here, it was all the way down to the bottom, below the low mark. So previously, before last month when I did the sensor, about 6 months ago, a shop quoted this guy $12,000 for an engine replacement for a head gasket issue. There was coolant leaking into cylinder 1. So it was misfiring, it was shaking really bad, and it was also overheating, losing coolant out of the reservoir. So, I quoted him. It was like, I think it was like $2,800, something like that, which shops were about $5,000. So he was okay with the price, but he's like, hey, if there's anything we can do to temporarily fix this, even if it's only a couple months, let's do it. And I'm like, I wouldn't recommend that, but if you really need the car right now and you don't want to spend the money, we can use some Blue Devil, which, like I said, I never do that. But I made him sign a paper that says I'm not liable. All I did was add it for him. Same thing as if he would have added it himself. He just wasn't comfortable. So we did that. Fast forward a couple months. I said the sensor went bad. Looked at the sensor. I didn't see any coagulation from the Blue Devil we put in there to the thermostat. There was nothing stuck in the thermostat. So I know I didn't clog anything up. Well, so I thought. Fast forward to now, which is 28th of July. I come in, like I said. That was low. There's no leaks anywhere. Underneath the vehicle is dry. There's no paint crust or anything like that from past leaks. On my scanner on live data, the water pump was at 2,700 RPMs. It's electronic, so that was good. Like I said, thermostat was good. The hoses were fine, wasn't firm. I was flowing properly. Temperature was good for about 30 minutes, then it hit about like 215, 217, up to 220. Cleared the code, see if it would come back. Sure enough, it came back. I told him, not really sure, I'm not 100% sure what's going on, but you do have a small little leak at the end of the corner of the radiator. Not only that, but one of the hoses was very firm, but it wasn't the hose that was before the thermostat, so we know it wasn't the thermostat. Under load, it's not flowing properly under load. Like I said, I checked that, which is the water pump. Under load, fine. Sensor, oh yeah, new. So that being said, only other thing it could be, oh yeah, and I also did another block test. I did it 3 times. So block test was done. It passed. And I ran that for like 45 minutes. So nothing happened with the head gasket. The Blue Devil's still holding. which I warned him, you know, it could hold 3 months, it could hold 2 years. It just really depends on how bad the leak was. It was a very, very, very small leak. So that's the only reason that we actually did it. If it was large, I would have just told him, no, it's not safe to do that. There's no point. So with that being said, quoted him a radiator. But my point is, at this point, after paying $380 for the thermostat, more than $380 for the thermostat, the sensor, you know, plus the labor and everything, the diagnostics 3 times, that's $140 each time. That's $420 plus around $380, $400 for that. And now the radiator's, you know, $250. That's with coolant and everything. So the radiator's $200, coolant $25 for the 2 gallons. But then the labor is 4.8 hours. I charge $140 per flat rate hour. It's competitive. It keeps the bullshit away. Prevents, you know, cheap customers from causing issues. You know, like someone not wanting to pay, or, you know, it's always, ever since I upped my prices, I've had good customers. You know, they come back, they leave good reviews. Never had a problem with them for over 1.5 years or 2. Some even when I first started this, but then the cheap ones who ask for lower prices, something like that, then something happens 2 months later and they're like, oh, well, that didn't happen before. And then they got a problem with it, and then they write you a bad review and you're like, damn, I should have known not to mess with this customer. Long story short, he's a good customer, but after all the stuff we already did, and we could have, what the money he spent, we could have already just done the head gasket, you know, because I'm not sure if the Blue Devil caused the sensor to go bad or the thermostat to go bad. And obviously I'm not sure if it caused the radiator to go bad because I don't have the radiator out yet. But that being said, just do everything the right way the first time. If a customer really doesn't want to pay for something, just tell them like, hey, it might cost you more in the long run. So with that being said, the job was supposed to be like $854 or something like that. It took off about $100 just to help them out. I mean, no, they don't struggle with money. You know, they're not rich and they're not poor, but past customers always hook them up with a deal some way or another. You know, either free diagnostics. Like this one, I didn't charge the diagnostics, so, and I gave them $100 off. So that's $240 off in reality. You know, it's 110 outside in Arizona. And I did the diagnostic outside in the sun for about an hour. So yeah, don't undercharge. You know, try not to overcharge, but remember, they're getting convenience, same day repair most of the time. And for example, right now, the lady is upstairs working, so she's not missing money. She's at home working. She didn't have to take it to a shop and miss work and wait there, and then just for them to diagnose and say, hey, it needs this, and then who knows, it might not even need that. They're just upcharging and charging extra and giving her something she doesn't need. Then on top of that, it sits there for 5-6 days while they grab parts. Meanwhile, 4 technicians have already touched this. Then you got comeback issues since 4 different people touched it. Mobile auto repair is the best way to go, plain and simple. If you like the videos, the explanation videos, hit that subscribe button, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks.